And so then we have Edward Scissorhands, Edward Leedskalnin. If you look at the look of the art, the style, the places, I think you'll see the connections, okay? Because it's more complex than what we think, this way that we relate to each other. So Ed Leedskalnin built the Coral Castle. After this happened, I went over to my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, her house, and I said, you know, this is really crazy. You're really going to think I'm nuts. But I told her the story. As these words are coming out of my mouth, she turns white as a ghost. And she said, where did you say this was? What is it? I said, Coral Castle. It's this weird place in Florida. Turns out, the first time she came to America from Colombia, she visited some friends in Florida. And they decided to make an excursion, and she happened to come across this place, Coral Castle. Nobody wanted to go, but for some reason she begged and begged that they go there. She really wanted to go and see this place, though she didn't know really anything about it. So they went. The whole time, people she was with, some of them were complaining and not having a good time. But she said it was a beautiful day and they had a good time, and they had been to Coral Castle. The first time she came to America, she was in Coral Castle. Okay. There's so many things I found. There's no way to go into it all. You know, I came across the work of William Henry. He was claiming the same thing, cycles of history being repeated in the South of America. He starts talking about sloth and relating him to Apollo and relating him to dolphins and relating him to Apollo and this word Powell, which is the Celtic word for spirit, which means an axis or a spirit, like the word pole, like a maypole, which is my last name, Powell. He was connecting all those things. I ended up, you know, as he started talking about this connection between Powell and Apollo, one day I'm looking at a calendar at my house, and I realized my nickname amongst my Colombian family and friends, they call me Pollo Loco, which is spelled P-O-L-L-O. So if you put the A before it as an A, pollo, or a chicken, it's spelled Apollo, and that had been written as my nickname on the calendar over something. And when I looked at the calendar, I realized this was the same thing. It was right in front of me, these linguistic symbols. So I get one of William Henry's videos off Netflix, and I'm watching it one morning, sort of half paying attention to it. He starts associating this word Powell with the word column and Columbia, right? And he's talking about Terence McKenna. He shows the statue of this woman. This has nothing to do with the synchronicities, or I wasn't taking it like that. He shows this weird statue that they found in Iraq. That was the goddess Mari. And the whole look of the posture, the whole thing, I've even shown people pictures of this next to my wife. It looked exactly like her. And I just laughed. I said, that looks just like Juli. My wife's name is Juliana. And I said, that looks just like Juli. And then I wasn't even paying attention to the video. Right after that, he goes, sometimes she's referred to as Holy Anna. Right? I was like, okay. So it's going on and on. So I'm thinking about these names. These names are all connected. So I'm thinking about my mom's name, which is Kathleen. And then William Henry starts talking about the Cathars in France. I'm like, wow, okay, Cathars. And then I'm going, and he's talking about these Cathars and what they're doing. And, oh, what about my stepfather's name? His name is Emery. So I'm trying to think of a connection, and I start saying to myself, at the time I wasn't even thinking emeralds, all these things, but I just started saying to myself, Emery, Emery. And the third time I said it, at the exact same moment on the video, William Henry goes, M-I, right as I'm saying. I mean, there was literally perfectly synchronized coming out of my mouth and his mouth on the video at the same time. And he says MR was this substance that was being bottled or something by the Cathars. I don't even know. I'm not all into that really too much. Of course, you can see Marco wrote in MR, all this, the emeralds. I mean, he goes into so many things that were weird. He starts talking about Tara and the tribe of Dan. At the time I was working at a place, my boss's name was Dan, and the other girl I worked with was named Tara. And, you know, Enoch, of course, was by the river of Dan, and the book of Enoch. So I go out and get a copy of the Book of Enoch, not the Keys of Enoch, the book, the actual old Ethiopian preserved scripture, the Book of Enoch. I go to visit my wife at her work. At the time she was working at the Hilton here in Charlotte. I'm sitting there reading this book. All the girls she works with are all Ethiopian. So I'm reading this book, preserved in Ethiopia, surrounded by these Ethiopian people. I'm reading a book all about Enoch. I get up, which has many connections to all this. I get up, after I'm leaving, I say goodbye. I walk outside, and I'm walking past the side of the building, and I'm having this thought, kind of as a joke. We all know about like the reptiles and this whole Babylonian and the reptile aliens. Not that I'm a supporter or promoter of that. I'm just, I'm aware of it in popular culture. And I sometimes have used that word to refer to unfeeling people, which is certainly a lot of what I encountered in that corporate world. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm walking by the building, what a bunch of reptiles. And at this exact same moment, again, I get this voice, and it goes, look to your right. And I turn and look to my right, and you would never see it from the street. We have an image of it. Is this huge stone engraving on the side of the building of Nebuchadnezzar, right out of Babylon, right coming from that place where they said, all of this took place, with Enoch and all that, was this huge statue of Nebuchadnezzar. We asked everybody at the no one had ever even seen it before. The managers, no one even knew it was there. And no one could explain what it was or why it was there. So I end up, she leaves that job. We end up going to travel to Colombia where we get married. As soon as I arrive in Colombia, I meet her family. Her father hands me a notebook, as in case I wanted to write in something, hands me a notebook from his business notebook, which the symbol for his business, and I don't have it with me, is an upside down version of the symbol of the Rodin, the Marco Rodin symbol of enlightenment, which is the mathematical decryption of the most great name of God, which my videos are all going to be about explaining. And across it is this diamond-grained crystal lattice pattern, which is the basis of the toroid, which everyone who follows this will get to know very well. So he hands me that immediately. I said, wow, that's pretty interesting. We go upstairs and walk upstairs. Above his bed in his room is this huge stone engraving of Thoth, positioned amongst the Egyptian deities. We're in Colombia, where Terence initially made his discovery. At the time, I had the Keys of Enoch on me. I go to visit a friend of hers. Her friend hands me a boomerang. It was a gift. She said, I bought this for you. It's a boomerang. I said, wow, cool, boomerang. That's really cool. After that, we go to the Catholic Church with their family. Everything's in Spanish, so I couldn't really follow. I pull out the Keys of Enoch. I open it up. It says, at that time, a boomerang effect will start to occur. Right? And that's just one of many. One day, I had been standing outside every day and noticed a Big Dipper right above my head. And I said, I don't know why. Every time I walk outside, I see the Big Dipper. Open up the Keys of Enoch. It goes, the Big Dipper will serve as a gateway which will open to the, to the higher heavens or something like that. This is going on day in, day out. Some of these synchronicities, I'll relate one last one, and then I want to wrap up what I'm saying. This is what I want to happen recently, just to show you how intricate, because I'm trying to teach on how to see this in your own life, how to make the connections. Okay, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine after one night we did a prayer ceremony. Him and I together. Afterwards, we were having a conversation. We were talking about language, and I was saying, this whole thing, it's all about the temple of man. It's all about the man. We always say that, the man. I'm not being sexist. I'm just using the vernacular. And I said, this whole thing, it all culminates in the man. What will the man decide? Will he be the son of man, the righteous man, or will he be like the man's son? The killer, the ultimate stereotype of the negative side of humanity. So we had this whole conversation.